goes by Big Dick Daddy from South Cincinnati.
But I ain't from Ohio.
Yeah.
Figure that one out.
I told a stripper that shit once. She said, "What's your name?" They call me Big Dick Daddy from South. He was like, "What?"
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
what you doing later?
Yeah. So, welcome to Uninfluenced. They told us to start different. Yeah. Told us start different, more dramatic. Welcome to Uninfluenced. We need Clint to do his William Shatner shit again. Just start fucking Clint. You're doing all the intros. So today we're going to get into, we got 4 good topics, well, 5 counting this one that we just found. And then we may get into a few viewer questions from you lovely fucking viewers and listeners. Remember, if you have a question, go to ask.uninfluenced@gmail.com. I love after I say that and then all the shit in the chat. Where can I ask a question?
It's because you ain't listening.
Yeah, in the description, there's a way to click, go there, do your thing. You got a lot of good episodes coming up, too. A lot of good people coming in.
I like to think so.
Yeah, a lot of exciting people. A lot of exciting shit happening here lately. So I'm going to get right into it. What is the perfect car that you have driven, not seen a review on? You've literally been behind the wheel and driven that car. What in your mind is the most perfect car? I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it.
A 96 diesel Volkswagen Jetta.
See, I thought it was your Subaru. I'm fucking totally off on that one.
Yeah, I got 52 miles to the gallon. It was the first car I ever had. And it was pretty sporty for a 1.9 liter 4-cylinder diesel engine. Had like 198 fucking horsepower, I think.
Fuck yeah. It's almost as much as your motorcycle.
Almost.
Motorcycle has a little more.
Which is fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to surprise a single motherfucker. And if it does, you probably should just go do something else. The Pista, for me is the most perfect car, especially because it's stock. I mean, I haven't driven yours yet, and we'll get into my new fucking project, but I think that could rival it for sure, and maybe even best it. But it's also it's impossible for me to discount the fact that the Pista is that way right off the showroom floor. So
bone stock.
That's tough to beat.
That is the best high-end car. I would totally agree because I have driven it. I'm going to say the best all around. I'm going to do it 2 parts, though, because I said best car or you've driven. I should have done it 2 ways. Best car you've driven and best all around daily. I should have done it that way. Fuck it, I'm going to change it. So what, the Pista is the best weekender.
Yeah.
What's the best daily?
For me, the Audi RSQ8 is.
God damn you.
It's comfortable. It's fast. It looks good. The tech in it is as good as probably any car out there. And there's just something about it that's enjoyable, more so than, I mean, I've driven a Urus. I had the Cayenne Turbo. I've never driven a Panamera Turbo, but I mean, all 4 of those cars have the same engine. For some reason, in the Audi, it just works the best. I've driven all but one of the models that has that engine in it, and I don't know what it is, but I just like its application the best in the Audi. But
yeah. I'm going to have to say the Audi RSQ8 for the best all-around get her done. That is, to date, since I've been, I would say 20, the longest car I've owned is my Audi RSQ8. And it's the only car to date that I've had seller's remorse getting rid of. And I've looked at them again, but from what I paid for mine versus what they are right now, it's so hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to go get one. Because even when you bought, they're cheaper than what they are right now.
That's crazy.
The Urus, me and the producer actually did a long review on it. It's a fun car. It's cool. I actually almost bought the one we did the review on for my wife. She drove it, did not like it at all. But the RSQ8, she loved it.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it. I don't know what it is. Like you said, it's just you get in, you feel at home, it's comfortable. You can go on long drives. You don't have to haul ass, but you can.
Yeah, to me, in thinking about it, I think the difference that the Urus is the closest. I think it's that it just feels a little more refined.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite as raw, and which, you know, in a daily driver that you're fucking jumping in quick and running errands and, you know, taking the family to dinner or whatever, it's nice to have a car that's got some balls but is refined. You know, to me, the BMW bike is very much that same way. Like, it's blistering fast, but it's not angry about it. You know, it's really smooth, super predictable, really refined, and I mean, it's still loud, it's still fast, it's still an amazing performing bike, but it can be composed and comfortable and easygoing if you want it to be. And to me, that's the perfect balance.
Yeah. I'm going to say my best car, and believe it or not, I've only got to drive my Performante for 100 miles, maybe, max. Yeah. But I'm still going to go with the Performante for the reason I told you yesterday. The very first supercar I ever drove was the Performante, and it was a rental out at Royalty Exotics. I rented it. I got it for 6 hours, and it just left that impression on me. And as I told you yesterday, I think it was yesterday, it's the only car that all these other cars I was trying to find that was as good to me as that car. While the Pista is that good or better, I'm not Pista level yet as far as my finances go, but I think that's the next level to the Pista right there. And with the VF, I think it gives it that gap that you need, but it's still not stock. But it's a fun car. It does what it needs to do. It handles great. It rides good. And yesterday, riding, we'll get into what you got, but riding from the opposite side, I sat there and I even told you, I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why this car still feels so much better inside than a basic Huracan. And it sounds like a cocky thing to say, but you go sit in a regular Huracan, you sit in the Perf, and it's different. Yeah,
to me, and we've talked about this, it's the same parallel as the Pista versus the GTB.
Yeah.
And the GTB is a great car, but if you sit in them back to back, there's just a difference.
Yeah, and I saw a post, and I was messing with you a little bit about it because it has to do with something else we're going to get into. But someone took a picture of a Performante, and they're like, oh, it's a Huracan. And they go on, and it's in this Facebook chat. They're going back and forth, and a couple of people are like, no, that's not just a Huracan, that's a Performante. And to me, it sounds weird till you've been in the realm of driving these cars, but a Pista, to me, that's why we call it a Pista, not its true badging is a 488 Pista, but we call it the Pista. The 488 GTB, to me, is a 488. The Perf is a Huracan Performante. No different than a Huracan 610x4, but it's so much different. And that's why we call them, and most people who know the cars, a Pista is a Pista, a Perf is a Perf. They're not Huracan Perfs, they're not 488 Pistas, and then it's like a GT2 RS. See a GT2 RS, you're not like, oh, that's a 911.
Yeah.
No, bitch, that's a GT2 RS.
Yeah.
SVJ is a fucking SVJ. It's not a fucking, oh, that's an Aventador. Mm-hmm. No, that's fucking SVJ. It's weird, the designation when you get into those cars. Yeah, they may have different submodels, but the special ones feel special. Yeah. And you get it once you get in one. Like, God damn, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Even from the passenger side. Yeah, they're just, I mean, other than if I had Pista money and I've drove the shit out of your Pista, and yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. Those two cars, I would say the Perf's the only car that's never made me be like, fuck, I still want that Pista that much more.
Yeah.
You know, every other car I get in, we're riding around, I'm like, fuck this car, I still want that one.
Yeah.
I don't have envy, I guess you would call it. But, yeah, the Pista's fucking amazing.
Well, and I can see why, you know, having spent a little time behind the wheel of that model. I totally get it. It's a whole nother level competent, and it's just an amazing car. But
Yeah, I did get to have some fun because I had the choice this weekend to ride one of your bikes or take the Pista. And I've been under a lot of shit the past 2 weeks. So I picked the bike. For one, you needed some break-in miles. And I was like, fuck, we'll get him to that first service for sure. If I take it this distance and back, it's ready for service. No questions asked now. And I was just, something in my mind once we hit that normal curve, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to just go. And once we jumped on the highway, I fucking did work on that bike. And I watched my stress, or I felt my stress just melting away.
Yeah.
Riding it. It was fun.
Yeah, I think it's a beast out on the highway.
So that leads me to my next topic, the perfect bike that you have rode.
Yeah.
So I'm saying rode so you guys know, or ridden, and the reason for it, there's the best bikes in the world, the best cars in the world, but we personally haven't driven some of these and rode some of these. I would say your collection's probably got some of the best you could buy right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and on purpose. Similar with the cars, we're always looking for shit that is fun to drive and good performance and kind of that good blend or balance. But for me, it's the BMW M1000RR is my favorite, and I think the best all around bike for what I kind of mentioned earlier is it's just performance wise, it's at the top. For sure you can get bikes that are a little quicker, if you do certain things to them. I mean, the sky's the limit, the same way with cars. But to have a bike that's comfortable, that doesn't get super hot, that's as fast as it is. I mean, it's a sub 460 to 130 bike. Keep in mind, it's a stage 2 Bren tune. Can't say enough good things about the guys at Bren Tuning. I've had a number of bikes tuned by them now, and they do phenomenal work. I mean, there's really no motorcycle tuner out there that can hold a candle to them, in my opinion. Depending on the bike, they certainly specialize in some brands over others, but so it's a stage 2 tune. It does have a lighter chain and sprocket on it. It's got a full. It had a full Akrapovic exhaust. Now it has a full titanium SC. It's the SCR-1 SC Project exhaust, which I can't say enough good things about. That combination is just incredible. The bike itself is very, very good, and I looked at a lot of reviews. I watched a ton of reviews on it, because I've had a couple of S1000 RR M packages, ones that had the carbon wheels, the lighter battery, the same color scheme, and it, like every review that I've watched said it's not worth the extra money. There's very little difference. It's basically the same fucking bike. There's a couple little really minor things, but it's for sure not worth the money. Just get the S1000 and do what you're going to do to it. I'm really glad that I didn't listen to them, and I'm surprised. And I don't know, maybe it's because I haven't been riding my whole life and I'm not a super technical track rider or whatever, but I notice a huge difference between the two. I mean, a huge difference, which I would think it would be the other way around. Like, the better you are, the more you're going to notice the nuance and differences between similar bikes. But but to me, it's night and day. It's very, very noticeably different. The suspension, granted, it's an analog suspension. It's not electronic the way the S is, and I prefer that. I think it handles better. Those carbon wings up front absolutely play a noticeable role in the plantedness in terms of the chassis stability handling-wise. And the titanium rods make it spin up faster. It revs 500 RPMs higher, and it gets there quicker. And that exhaust sounds like a fucking F1 car, and is noticeably different. I mean, I put over 1,000 miles on it with the Acro exhaust, which is a full titanium exhaust. Switching it to the SC Project, it was noticeably faster, which is the first time I've ever had that happen, where I could tell just by the exhaust that there was a difference in how it performed. But it just has everything. The shifts are lightning fast and ridiculously smooth. I have it set up GP shift, which I've switched all my bikes over to. I really prefer that style of shifting, and it makes it mindless. It's such an easy bike to ride, but so capable. and fun. It's just it's by far the best for me.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know what GP shifting is, especially for me, it's harder because I rode one of his bikes this weekend. It's harder, but I would say 4 miles in, I had it down, and it was easy. But what it does, it reverses your shift pattern. So where it's normally 1 down, 5 up, now it's 1 up, 5 down. So it honestly, when you put it on paper, it makes more sense. I mean, the way you have mentioned a couple times, it should be all down and fucking neutral up makes more sense than anything.
Well, yeah. So for that, anybody listening, if anybody knows why it's that way, I'd love to hear about it. I don't know, and I don't get it. Why neutral is between first and second, irrespective of GP or normal shifting. Why is neutral not all the way at the bottom or all the way at the top? I don't get that. I think it's fucking dumb. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to say the best bike I've rode right now, because I haven't rode your M very far.
Yeah.
I don't even think I did a full loop on it. I think I just rode it like to the gas station or something. But I'm going to say the V4S, the 2022 V4S. And it's just because what I got to do this weekend.
Yeah.
We left, and it was Mike and Clinton. For once, I was out front. Normally, on a bike, I just sit back and kind of just hang tight and watch what these guys do. But like I said, I had so much going on. I jumped on the bike. I got in front of them after I had to catch up to y'all because my fucking earbud fell out. That's what I was doing, getting that shit right. But I got that shit in. I caught up, and I just had an opening, and I went around, and then I just stayed up front. And something in my mind's like, ride like you used to. And I fucking jumped on the highway, and I just fucking hauled ass. I wasn't cutting cars off, but I was lane splitting like a motherfucker, and it was a blast. That fucking thing, it was so planted on the ground, handled good. Shifts were fucking easy. It was like fucking butter. It didn't pull up unnecessary. Sometimes you have the bikes that if you're pushing them hard, you're about 110, and these leader bikes will just pull up. And that's where these wings now are coming in so much to bring down the air or push the downforce and keep the bike planted. I had the tire so hot, we had the rubber beads on it when we got to where we were going. And I asked Matt, I said, I hauled ass. And I slowed down a few times. I told you to kind of look back, see where you guys were. And I never saw y'all. So I was like, fuck it. Now I just gun it again. I asked Matt, I said, man, how much you think I was there before them? He said, man, it was like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah. I will say, when we first got on the interstate, I saw you disappear in between a couple cars, and then it was like the seas closed in on us, and like all the way until we got on the toll road. I mean, we were doing less than the speed limit. Like, we were just completely backed up, going slow as fuck. I was like, well, dude, he's gone. We're never going to fucking... And it was a later morning meet. It was at 9, so there was already a fuck ton of traffic out, and it was kind of a shitty ride there. There was very, very little openings to even go the speed limit, let alone enjoy the car. So it was kind of shitty. But
on the way back, I was like, I'm gonna ride slow because I want to get a couple punches in side by side with this fucking car.
Yeah,
and I kept traffic kind of sucked coming back too. And then, like I said, that service engine light came on. I'm like, fuck, I broke his fucking bike. Now I look down after just calming down a little bit. I'm like, fuck, it's time for the oil change. So the service, it's true service, not you broke the shit. But I will say this about that Ducati too, because I've never ran one to the gas light. So I didn't know what the number was. Usually in the manual it'll say, slow down and you have X amount of miles and your ass needs gas. And everyone thinks it's 5 or 10 miles. And no, it's a good ways, because they know you could be on a long ride in a back road and this light comes on, you need some miles. I pushed it 25 miles to where we normally get gas. Didn't push the car or the bike. I don't think I ever really jumped back on it at all. I just stayed in a smooth gear, stayed around 90 to 100, but 25 miles. And what was cool, because we both like gas gauges for sure on bikes, but what was cool is it was telling me fuel trip. And I was like, oh, that's badass. So it's telling me how far I've gone. So if this ever happens again and I'm on this bike, I know for sure
how many
I have
miles?
25 miles
For
sure safely.
Yeah.
In the manual somewhere, I'm sure it says, 25, 30, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it never hesitated. It did feel like it kind of was like, bitch, don't push me. It had a hesitation as, don't fuck with me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We're on reserve.
Yeah.
But a great fucking bike.
Yeah.
For bang for the buck, that's a really, really good bike. The M1000, I'm looking forward to seeing what one of those is like, putting miles on it, beating the shit out of it in a good way, positive way, and then seeing how it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
Yep.
What are the two key components for canine success? That's effective training and proper nutrition. Fueled by Team Dog brings those two components to your family and best friend. The perfect nutritional balance that results in a higher mental acuity, energy, overall vitality, and even an improved appearance. Every product you will find in my company's store was born from the battlefield and not from the boardroom. Let my life's work help you become your dog's hero.
You want to talk about your new shit yet?
Sure. Yeah. So the 765 is going away. I don't hate the car. I just don't love it. It's got a couple things for me that weren't not to my liking, and to me for that money. And if I'm going to mess with it, like you've heard me say a million times, I have to love it, and I just didn't. So, at any rate, I've gone back and forth on what else to try. And for a few years now, I have toyed with the option of going with a underground racing twin turboed V10. I had the R8, as you guys know. I did a twin turbo with a different company and was not satisfied or happy with how that turned out. And so I sold that, and now here a few years later decided to go that route again, but wanted to go with underground racing because of their reputation and their history and what have you. So I did, and so I went with a Stage 3 Plus UGR Performante, and I could not say enough good things about how well done that car is. It runs perfect. It's literally unbelievably fast. It's hard to wrap your mind around how quick it is. That build is 1150 wheel horsepower on pump gas, 1400 on race gas, MS 109. Not that I've done that in it yet. I've just been doing pump, but it's phenomenal. And I completely understand Matt's attraction to the handling and steering and just the connection and emotion that car brings. I will say, the twin turbo does bring a different element. It's pretty specific in terms of how you have to drive it. You can't run up and down the gears and hammer it the way you would on a track if it was stock or with a supercharger. But that's what I have the Pista for. So it is a little bit one-dimensional that way, but it makes up for it for me in that, one, I can drive that way in the Pista whenever I want, and two, when I want to go out and do that type of driving where it's the blisteringly fast 60 to 130 type stuff, then that car is an absolute beast. So I'm loving it so far. I've put 400 miles on it, and took Matt out in it last night, and it's a monster of a car, and they did a phenomenal job. So I can't thank Kevin and the UGR guys enough for taking such good care of me.
We do have a small clip. I got to edit it, send it over to Billy, and we'll get it popped up on there. I will say, he asked me to watch it back. I watched it back. I filmed this on my phone, and I've never had this happen. And I don't know if the G-force of the pull was so much, but the gyro in the iPhone kind of starts almost flickering, and the camera screen gets fuzzy. And it's right around when we stop the pull. It's because he showed me on his phone. He's still got a Nokia
flip
phone, and but yeah, it was like, holy shit. So we watched it on mine, and I'm gonna cut it and just send him the back end where we finally do the pull. Yeah, because I was filming for a while, but the. the sound of this. We're going to get some good in-car audio of this car. Motherfuck, that thing sound. Cold start.
Yeah.
Shit, we need a good cold start video.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
an amazing car.
it sounds like a fucking jet sitting there fucking starting up, getting ready. Great car. It's odd because I can't wait to get mine back and compare the sound. I honestly think my car is louder than that.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
Which is in the R8 we kind of talked about that it was
quieter being twin turboed.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't know, of course the turbos kind of have that muffle deal, but well, mine sounds louder at first, but when he gets into that motherfucking, god dang, it's like fuck you.
Yeah. It's a beast.
That thing's fucking nutty as hell.
Yeah. So to be continued. We'll get you some content with that, and maybe even some new shit that we haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep you posted.
Yeah, I wish we may have to talk about it before the 765 goes away. Taking it out and doing a 60 to 130 against each other.
Yeah.
I don't think it fucking would even be close.
No, it won't be. I mean, based on the data that I've logged on it, that disparity, 1.2, 1.3 second difference is
that's huge.
It's a lifetime in that metric, So
yeah, and the top end, it's not one of those. Oh well, maybe the 765 will catch it top end.
No, it won't.
No, not at all. Because the Pista starts catching the 765 on the top end.
Yeah, the downforce in the 765 is one of the reasons that I'm getting rid of it. Is that it really hampers it at the top end, which I don't like. But.
So, I told you this, and I don't know. Maybe one day we need to do it, even if it's behind mine. I want you to feel the turbulence that came off your fucking car. I'm behind him on the bike, and he punches it, and I give it gas, and I start tank slapping and fucking watching this fucking visor on this fucking Ducati, which it ain't a bad built Ducati that's fucking shaking all the time for shits and giggles. Because on the way out there, I put that motherfucker up to 170, and I was just fucking gone. And it held together, no shake. The mirror wasn't fucking doing it. But when I got behind you, and it was a good 3 to 4 cars back, that wind disturbance that car's making, holy fuck.
Yeah.
It felt like Tom Cruise went through the jet wash. Like,
fucking goose.
Yeah. It's like, God damn, I'm about to let go.
Yeah, that's wild.
Because I even shot over. I don't know if you noticed the spot I'm talking. I shot over one lane, and it cleared up.
That's
like, wild, it was gone.
Man. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like, what the fuck? So, yeah, that tells you an aerodynamic bike is like it's hitting a fucking brick wall.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With the air and disturbance that car's making. It's fucking nutty.
Yeah.
It was fun. But, god dang.
Yep.
I get to brag. I beat a 1,400 horsepower car from point A to point D.
Yeah.
Not in a true race. Like it was one of those, what's that meme? He blinked. He's racing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the GT car before we get into the next one.
Yeah, so the stat says the Porsche 718 Cayman, go back up, dickweed. 718 Cayman GT4 RS laps the Nürburgring and Hockenheim quicker than the 911 Turbo S. My first question is it the 992 Turbo S? Because I have not seen an updated.
I haven't seen a matrix, and I was wondering that.
Yeah, because the 991.2 time is 716 or 717, but it's said that for a couple of years now, So I don't think that they've done the 992 on there. I do find it also cool / interesting that Sports Auto's Christian Gebhardt did the time. He's the same guy that got the 7 flat in the Pista. So.
Isn't he the one that did?
He's done a bunch of fucking cars fastest times.
Yeah, it's him and another guy who pretty much you want one of those two dudes.
Yeah,
getting your time.
Yeah, he's a hell of a driver. But what it does say is it says a lot, about the Cayman GT4 RS. 717 or 716, I guess. Is a pretty respectable time, especially when you're talking about a car that has 490 horsepower. So,
But if I remember right, that thing has the same engine in it
as the GT3.
As the GT3.
But it has, I want to say, 8 or 10 less horsepower because the exhaust is done a certain way. Because it's, I don't remember which, because it's mid-engine instead of rear engine, like the Turbo S is. It has like an extra 18 inches of exhaust or something like that cuts the horsepower down a handful of horsepower. But yeah, it's the exact same engine in the GT3, which is weird. But
yeah, and it almost makes you wonder because of affordability. Keep in mind when I say affordability, when you get into these type of cars, the Cayman is a relatively affordable car, even this one. If you buy it firsthand, once they start doing all these secondhand markup, gray market bullshit, they're going to be up there. But it almost makes you wonder if they slowed that car down some in the tune to be like, yeah, we don't want it out there fucking up our regular car. That's their moneymaker.
yeah, maybe. But
I mean, the only way to tell is get it, change the exhaust, and tune it.
yeah,
And then go find a GT3 and see
Yeah.
if you can fuck it up.
yeah.
But it's still very fucking respectful for that car. Because what are they? They're like 160,000, right?
They're god awful expensive. One other thing that is really important in this, especially on the Nürburgring time, is that the GT4 RS had Sport Cup 2R tires on it, and the Turbo S they tested one I think was a 991.2, and it had Pirelli P0s on it.
Yeah, that's like
So-
fucking ice skating anyway.
I mean, that's like a 10-second time difference. So
Yeah.
to me, the clickbaitedness of this headline is a little bit disingenuous because of that, in my opinion. Is that one, it's not the current model, and two, they used fucking street tires instead of track tires, and that makes a huge difference, especially on that track, so.
Yeah, those Cup 2R tires, we've both had great experience with those. They're fucking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, they're head and shoulders above the regular Sport Cup 2s, which are better than the P0. So
Let me ask you, is the Sport Cup 2R better than the Triple R?
mm-hmm.
So when your tires are bad, are you switching to the Cup 2Rs on the other car?
Probably not. Well, let me take one step back. For track-like handling, yes, they're better.
Mm-hmm.
For straight line speed, I don't think they probably are. In fact, they may not be as good.
Yeah.
So I think because the Performante is not meant for that, because it's got that much power, it's not a car you'd want to push on corners anyway while it's under acceleration. It doesn't make sense to switch those over. But
Yeah, I was thinking when my tires are fucked on my car.
I would switch them to the 2Rs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's which I think that size is available. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's the 21.
Yeah, in your car, 100% I would.
Yeah. Yeah, but how much? Can you look up when you get a chance the Cayman GT4 RS prices right now?
I think they're fucking 200 grand and above. Like, I want to say they're over $200,000, I think, but just fucking nuts.
Yeah, is that new or is that the secondhand market shit?
New, because they're not actually in people's hands yet. Yeah, I mean, 141.7 starting, but
By the time you add the carbon ceramics, that's $12,000.
yeah, I mean, optioned out how anybody would want it. It's a $200,000 car.
So here's the question: would you buy the GT4 RS over the GT3? Not GT3 RS, GT3.
Yeah, I probably would.
That fucking Cayman I had was a very fun fucking car.
Yeah,
And I just had the GTS. Yeah, the GTS.
Yeah, I probably would get that over the GT3, but
And they're cool as shit. Look, you don't see a ton of these fuckers.
yeah, I think they're a better looking car. Honestly, I think they look just a little more aggressive.
Yeah, look at that little fucker.
Yeah, I think that's a better looking car than the GT3. But
I'd want it in PDK. Everyone's like, "Oh, get it," because you can still get that in a manual.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I
Fuck
wouldn't
that.
want the manual. Like
The
that,
P-
that blue one. Go back up just a little bit far left. That thing.
That one,
Yeah, look at that thing.
that bitch is bad.
Yeah.
Save that and put that picture up. God dang, that thing's badass. Yeah. And then that picture over there with the wing, that one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good car.
Yeah, I mean, for the money, if you can get one, spec one out now, when you go to these, it's new but not new. I got it with 3 miles on it, and I'm selling it with 15 miles on it, and they're now $280,000.
Well, I mean, to me, even at 200,000, when you look at what else you can get in that price range, then that's not a very attractive car, in my opinion.
That's true. Because for that money, I'm going to go look at the ZR1.
I mean, you can get, there's a lot of things you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, R8s, used Huracans. I mean, there's so many cars. I mean, when you start talking above 200 grand for a car that has, 496 horsepower now, like that's a much different story, in my opinion. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good little.
Not to take away from it. It's a hell of a car, I think. But
yeah. Fucking Porsche.
Yeah.
And Porsche is stepping up.
That's right.
So I kind of want to talk about some other topics here. Nowadays, we notice a lot people that take a joke and then they turn it into them being a victim. That's becoming more and more. I guess I could merge those two right there because it all stems from the next topic.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So basically, people who take what's said as a joke, and we'll just say as social media, and turn it into a victim mentality of, he's picking on me, he's bullying me. And kids nowadays are so dependent on fucking social media, the new saying is, it's time to meet your Mike Tyson, because these kids haven't been punched in the fucking mouth. They think they can get on the computer, talk shit, and it's okay. And simple shit, like I can be on your social media, which I never do, get on Mike Ritland Co. and say something stupid, which again, I would never do. Or I went on your Mike Ritland, your normal one, and said, hey man, nice fucking shirt. You should have did it in pink, you fucking bitch. And joking around about something we were talking about here, which again, I would never do, but that would get flipped around. So by your followers and everything else, say, man, why is this dude talking shit? And now you're the victim of me telling a joke that these people don't know was behind the scenes, which there's no joke about a pink shirt for Mike Ritland, but just using an example. People take shit, the social media aspect, so fucked up now that to me it's twisted. They don't get what reality is. So if I have 5,000 followers, in a teenager's mind, they have 5,000 friends, but they don't. They've never met probably 400 or 4,998,000 of these motherfuckers, or 9,800. They haven't met them. They've met 5 or 6 of these people. These are their true, actual friends, these people. But they're worried about what these other 4,000 motherfuckers over here think. What are your thoughts on the way we've become so social media dependent now?
I mean, to me, social media has always been a double-edged sword. I mean, there's some amazing things that come out of it, and there's some drawbacks to it. And I think the, disappointing or alarming thing that makes me worry for subsequent generations is the inability to separate real life from virtual social media life, and I get why they can't, and it's because they grew up with that and that's all they know. And that's the unfortunate part is that there's an inability to differentiate between the two. To me, it's just kind of sad, I guess, ultimately in that, the responses that have come out as of late, I guess, have been what they've been. Now, on the same token, I also think, everybody's entitled to their opinion. That, free speech is free speech, and you get to say whatever the fuck you want, so there's that. And to me, that kind of trumps everything else. So, I mean, ultimately it kind of doesn't matter what I think. People are free to do and say whatever the fuck it is that they want to say. And that's one of the things that, A, both makes this country great ultimately, and B, one of the reasons why I fought for this country, was to preserve everybody's ability to say whatever they want, especially if it is something that I disagree with, you know. So I would never change that. You know, I don't want to see that right go away, or any of that change, no matter how fucking irritating or frustrating sometimes it may be. I think it's a crucial element to our society, maintaining some semblance of liberty and freedom, you know. But I do think that, you know, people, myself included, but especially kids, because they are so dependent on social media for life. You know, I do hate to see people so dependent on it, where, you know, their lives are completely ingrained in it, and they don't really have, you know, much outside of that. You know, that's just sad to see, because it's like if for some reason that went away, you know, a lot of people, I think, would be really lost and wouldn't know what the fuck to do with themselves. But
no, I 100% agree with that. But consequences. So nowadays online, you can say whatever you want.
yeah,
I mean, I can get online and talk shit to you, to Clint, to Travis Kennedy, and be like, they ain't gonna do shit.
yeah,
But the reality is, I see you, I see Clint, Travis may come back around here.
yeah.
The fact is, one of you guys could just punch me in the fucking mouth for running my fucking head online.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. But I guess you know, when I mean, this is something that I've thought about a lot. I mean, over the years, this isn't my first rodeo of being, you know, in the public light, if you will, and being open to, you know, criticism for whatever, whether it's, you know, books that I've put out, interviews I've done, you know, posting dog videos where there's other, you know, trainers or people in the industry that disagree with how I do things, or think that I'm a fucking idiot, or whatever, and want to run their mouth about it. I mean, again, I'm going to default to it's a free country, and you can say whatever you want. And you know, to me, what you saw here recently with both Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, I think, kind of highlights what I don't want this country to get into. While I understand what you're saying, again, I think there's a huge disparity between real life and social media life. And I think, you know, if anybody's response to being talked to a certain way on social media is that I want to get up and smack the fuck out of you or whatever, then that's ultimately the wrong answer. Is that, you know, in real life, if it's somebody you know and there's an issue, that's a different story. Mm-hmm. Online, like, just separate it and don't worry about it. But you know, to me, it's like, you know, Chris Rock should be able to tell a joke and not have Will Smith get up and slap the fuck out of him for it. You know, It's like, yeah, technically he ran his mouth about his wife, but it was a fucking joke, you know. And to me, where there's a difference is, you know, when you take physical action based on a joke, you know, that's different. Now, here's where I will make another distinction, though, is that if what people say incites action or activity for other people to do something that now hurts that person, then that's a whole different fucking ballgame.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, to me, like, free speech is always going to be free speech, you know, but when if it leads to physical action, you know, then I would, you know, say then you know, consequences are going to you know, be an essential part of that, or a necessary part to keep balance. You know, but I just want to reiterate, like, I think, you know, people being able to say whatever they want is so important and so crucial. And the important part is when you think that it's dumb, or you disagree with it, or you think they're being an asshole or whatever, you know. I mean, no different than bullying in schools. Like, that shit isn't ever going to stop, you know.
No.
Like, you can try to outlaw bullying, or you can just teach people how to deal with it, you know. And to me, that's always the best answer, is that if you don't give anybody a reaction, that's usually the easiest way to you know, to defeat it, is that it's not fun if there's no response, you know. So it'll go away at some point, you know, with everybody and with everything that way. But
Yeah. And then there's the dumbass kids that take something that's funny as shit and turn it into the victim. where they're the victim and the shit was funny.
Yeah, again, I guess to me, it's like it's their right to do that. I just feel bad for. I mean, I legitimately feel pity towards people that can't take a joke, and that get their feelings emotionally damaged, by somebody saying something, and that goes both ways, right? So yeah, just like I while I don't understand being, that fragile, I guess, if you want to live your life where words equal violence to you, that's your prerogative, but goddamn, I feel sorry for you. Like if you take shit that serious, you need to lighten up, go get laid, and fucking try to enjoy your life a little better, in my opinion.
And most of these people that live on social media will never be laid. So use your left hand.
Yeah, well, I hope that's not the case, but
use your left hand, not your right hand. Switch it up.
Yeah.
Go on a different date.
Yeah.
Cheat on her. Let's get into some viewer questions.
What do you want to know?
Yeah. The Office. That's your shit right there.
Clever subject.
Good morning.
I guess I'll take this first question. So, what is the best tasting MRE entree? What's the worst tasting? If you had to choose between an MRE and a Beyond Burger, what would you pick? I'm going to answer your first question or your last question first. An MRE every time. You will not catch me. I will fast before I eat fake meat, and that's both in principle and from a health standpoint. Best tasting MRE. I got to tell you, it's been a little while since I've had one, but I want to say the beef enchilada was probably my favorite. That's the one that I traded for as often as I could when we were in Iraq. The worst tasting was we called them baby dicks. They were the little mini hot dogs. They're fucking terrible. There's a bunch of shitty ones though.
We should do an MRE tasting.
Yeah, we should. I think Stumpf and God damn it, I forgot his name. There's another guy that I had him on my show, but they've done some MRE and wine tasting combos that are pretty funny. But yeah, beef enchilada is my favorite, and I think the hot dogs are probably my least favorite.
My dad used to bring them, and there was a dessert. I can't ever remember what it was, but it was like a tannish color, and it was really fucking good.
Beef stew is another good one. But
I've had that one.
Yeah. If I want to learn more U.S. and world history, which historians or sources of information do you recommend?
Google.
Fucking Google. Probably not a United States college campus for the most part.
Yeah.
No, there's actually a YouTube channel called Captivating History that also sells books. So the videos that they do, they also have books that coincide with them that are pretty good and seem pretty even keeled and not like crazy leaning in any direction. That's probably my favorite. But if you participated in the International Concourse of Elegance, which car would you pick? Which car would you choose to drive on the frozen lake track in Switzerland?
I'm not going to watch all those videos, but I'm going to go with the Zonda.
Yeah, Pagani Zonda. I'm going to level with you. I don't know what the fuck car that is. I know what Paganis are, but I'm not familiar with the Zonda.
That one.
That one? All right. And then the other two are Maserati. Probably, yeah, I mean, I'd need to watch the videos, which we don't have time, but I would take the MC20 over the MC12, and I don't know between the Zonda and the MC20 without doing a little more.
The Zonda runs a Mercedes V12.
Oh, does it? Probably the Zonda myself, too, then. But
Yep. The Zonda's a bad bitch. Next. Hey, guys. What would you guys recommend for a budget-friendly $700 to $1,500 video camera for dog training, content videos? Note, also ease of uploading videos to social media, etc.
honestly, I think a GoPro. Just make sure, where, and Matt taught me this, where you can make a GoPro great for something like that is in the settings. So it doesn't have to be super wide angle, and you can adjust some of the other settings to make it a little more friendly for that type of stuff. But those are great options, because to me, and I can tell you this from experience, the struggle with action content in general, especially dog training stuff, is the stabilization. is that you're moving around a lot. Dogs are dynamic. The person's dynamic. So when you have two dynamic subjects and you're trying to film all of that, it can be tricky to not have it be bouncy and blurry and fucking terrible. And the GoPro gyro system is phenomenal. So I would get the newest GoPro and fuck with the settings and use that. Honestly, you can get the little Rode wireless mics that work fantastic. That's what I use. But most of my dog content is either I'll set up a tripod and use the camera that you're watching this video on, which is a Canon. I forget the model name. What's the model name? Can you see it from there?
I can't see it.
I think it's on the back of the fucking screen thing.
It's a XA55.
XA55. That's probably a little past your budget, but for the still stuff, I use this camera with a wireless mic. But for most of the moving stuff, which is mostly what I do, I use a fucking GoPro. So they work really, really well.
GoPros, especially now, some of the GoPro quality could be as good as this on a tripod too, because you can get the cheap tripod. I will tell you, go to Peter McKinnon and search GoPro settings. That dude has a deal. Matter of fact, I have a screenshot of what the settings are, and that's what I set every one of mine. I get up to it. Rock Spider here from YouTube chats, comments. Always great listening to you. I'm gonna let you have it since it's got your name.
Yeah. It says, Mike has mentioned several times not driving hard until the tire temperature is hot, specifically mentioned 110 degrees, 95 minimum before you're really pushing it. How do you know the tire temp? So in most of the supercars, they have the TPMS, the tire pressure monitoring system, which has the tire pressure and the tire temperature for each individual tire. There is usually a screen that you can toggle through in your gauge cluster setup. Again, in most cars that have a lot of power and are faster cars, and so that's how we keep track. And so on every car that I've had for the last couple of years, when it's cold out, like in the summertime, if you're getting in the car and it's 95 degrees and humid to begin with, I don't really bother, because I know after about 10 minutes of driving, they're going to be hot as fuck anyway. But when it's cold, that's the screen I actually have on as the biggest part of the most main screen that I can keep it on, depending on the car and what the setup is. And that's what I actually look at while I'm driving before I start to push it. So I'm checking that over everything else. And that's how it is. I don't know of an aftermarket deal, because it's going to be a sensor in the rim that's electronically integrated into the ECU and electric components of the car. So I doubt that there probably is one. And if there is, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is. I'd have to really go dorky there. Guys, love the show. Thank you. So I have an R8 and a dog. Hell yeah. I was hoping you guys might have a suggestion as how I can modify the passenger seat to make a little more room for him. He is deserving of a comfortable ride while nibbling on a team dog treat.
My man, Bob. So we'll just call him Bob.
Bob.
So from my standpoint, I've seen this done before, and I've done modified versions of this myself, especially in an R8. Taking the seat out is going to give you the most room if you're that committed to having your dog and you're not taking other people. So that's going to give you the most room. That's also not very realistic. The second best method is to use that high density foam and get like the blocks of it that you can pull squares out the same way that you get in like camera bags and shit like that. So set up kind of that same way, or get one solid block and use a heat gun, the blade heat guns that you cut webbing and that like parachute riggers and stuff like that use for cutting nylon and shit. But you can melt it to where basically you want to put it where the foot area is, so that platform is even with the seat part of the seat, so that you've got a as big as flat platform as you can get right there for the dog to lay down on. Now in an R8, depending on the size of the dog, it's still going to be probably a tight fit, but that's going to give you the best option for the dog to lay down, because for a dog to sit in a seat, I know some dogs do. The curvature of that seat and the way their spine is when they're sitting is not great for them, especially for long periods of time, or if you're going over bumps and shit, it can be pretty hard on their spine and tail and tailbone. So that's the best way to do it, is basically fill in the foot room area to make it flush with the seat, and then also even in the seat put some at the bottom so that it's as flat of a platform as you can possibly get.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
2014 Maserati Quattro Porte. I'm not sure that's right. SQ4. Are these cars worth a shit, or is it a waste of time and money?
I'm going to look it up quick.
I'm going to go ahead and answer while he looks it up and tell you I do not like anything that says Maserati on it.
You're going to look it up. Yeah, I mean, a 2014 Maserati, I would say probably pass, but Maseratis are not known for retaining their value or being super reliable from that era. And I would say for the last 10 years plus, Maserati is not the brand of car I would buy for any type of sports performance, or even a sedan that's a sports performer. Like if you're going for a four-door saloon that has some balls, go with an M5 or an E63S or an Audi S7.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you want something for more spirited driving, yet still fun and reliable, go to a BMW. All day motherfucking long.
Damn, you're going way back 2 months old and shit.
Dude, we got some really old ones, and people, we are sorry for that. We took a small break because my wife couldn't keep her legs closed. But other than that, we're trying to catch back up. What does that? Go to that one. Holy shit, never mind.
Go to the track versus street one. Is that one? No, it's not a question. Never mind.
Yeah. I really need to go through these. Oh, fuck this guy. This is the guy. Don't it say something about
It just says Texas is only second to California for being the shittiest drivers. It's a commercial truck driver that drives 300,000 miles a year. So I'm automatically going to listen to you over just about everybody else, as opposed to just somebody with an opinion. But Texans are second to California drivers as far as being some of the worst on the road. They have no road etiquette, no common sense, no situational awareness. As to the why is that, I have no idea, other than I think a big part of that is that a shitload of Californians have moved to Texas in the last few years. So that's probably the biggest reason for that, is that they're not really Texans. They're Californians that just moved here.
We also get annoyed by the fucking driving.
Yeah.
These fucking ass clowns that fucking sit in the fast lane.
Yeah.
Doing fucking 55 and a 65 or.
So, the question is, what's your biggest pet peeve? For me, I would just say distracted drivers. I mean, even people that are going, what I would consider too slow in the left lane. I actually, maybe this has surprised people, I don't give a shit about that. For me, like I view it as that if I'm driving, I'll go around people or whatever. To me, it's just when people are oblivious, when they're not paying attention. That's my biggest pet peeve, because with that, if you are paying attention, you'll see that somebody runs up on you behind you if you're in the left lane, and you'll have enough self-awareness to get the fuck out of the way. To me, like ultimately, the root cause of every shitty driving is not paying attention. Again, with all of those things is not having that understanding of what the fuck is going on around you, and then not doing what you should be doing. So that's my biggest pet peeve. But
yeah, mine is just slow ass drivers. Period. Get the fuck out of my way. Or stay where the fuck you're at, so you're not trying to block me when I am going the fuck around you.
Yep.
And that's it for today. You stop scrolling all around, asshole. Yep, that's it for today. Guys, if you have more questions, we're trying to catch up on the questions and answers. Maybe we need to do it. What the fuck?
Don't you disconnect that shit on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. Maybe we need to take some time and
Maybe just do an all Q&A.
Yeah, just do a couple all Q&As and just go through them. There'll be some that are a few months back, but we'll catch up. If you have new shit, ask.uninfluenced@gmail.com. That's where we answer the questions. Try to keep them out of the comments so people can actually comment. Go hit the like, all that other shit, and check us out on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and all that. Peace, bitches.